Welcome, everyone, to Fasting Space. So nice to have you here. Welcome to a new week. How was your weekend? How are you doing today? I had a bit of an extended weekend. I put the little video for our session on Friday. Were you able to check that out? A little space to sit in some stillness. I was able to sit in some stillness today. Over my weekend, and then we bring it into our session today. So we were up a little ski weekend. Got some downhill skiing, cross-country skiing, snowshoeing with the family. I had a little bit of time. I was able to sneak out on a hike myself. There's some state land where we were staying, and I hiked through the woods and found this little frozen lake. So here we are sitting. I had my camera with me, but it wasn't really charged up, and I don't know if it was the charge or the snow. I didn't have a tripod or anything. I just leaned it up against a stick to bring us this space, but then the phone froze. So we've got it. We've got it for a little bit. But I was able to sit right in this space where we are this weekend for about an hour and a half. And it was a really, really beautiful stretch of time. Have you been able to find a space like that where you've been able to just be by yourself out in nature for a period of time like that? I don't know how often it happens for me, just a few times a year, where I really carve out the space to do it. And so this was just a total gift to be able to get there. And I had the same experience, just like a meditation space. To me, this is like a natural meditation. Just to be out in nature and observe it. My experience, the same as so many other times I've tried to do anything like that. Initially, pretty difficult. Like, I get there, I didn't really have a plan. I was going to go out for a hike. I was out for a hike. I stumbled on a beautiful lake. So, I'm going to spend some time here. It's actually pretty windy out. And but then you walk into this little enclosed space. I had been kind of out going across the frozen bigger lake off to this side area. And then it was so calm and peaceful in here. Watch the snow falling. First 5 or 10 minutes to kind of sit there. A little anxious. It's like, oh man, I should keep going, But then kind of settle in, and I kept, the same thought kept coming to me. Just look at the trees. So many of these pine trees, they're old trees. They've been hanging out by this lake for decades. And I was like, I'll spend some time here. Let's just settle into the space. That's what I invite you to do. We got the same space. I'm sitting right behind the camera. We're right here in that space. The thing I can't bring to you here, even it was like 16 degrees out, I'm all bundled up. The thing that I can't bring you here, just the subtle frozen smell of all the pine trees. Take a big deep breath in there, and you just smell this fresh, clean air in the pine trees. I want to share 2 quotes with you to frame this space. Queen of Heaven is here. Good morning. I hope you're well today. I want to share this quote with you. Nature's peace will flow into you as sunshine flows into trees. From John Muir. This is basically the experience I had as I was sitting there in this frozen lake, sitting here looking at the trees, just watching the gentle snow falling. This is the first observation I had, and everything is at peace here. I am coming into this space. When I came into it, like I was saying, I feel a little anxious just to sit down in a space. Say, shouldn't I keep walking? Aren't I trying to go somewhere? And I think, where am I trying to go? You know, I'm here. That's what I was thinking, you know. Can we just be in a space for a little bit? Say, this place is at peace. It's like nothing is happening here and everything is okay. Think of this quote, right? This is a very cloudy day. Not too much sunshine coming in. And, but think, in order for these trees to grow, like the sunshine flowing into the trees. Such a beautiful thought. So the more I sat there for about 90 minutes. Say, just try to soak up the peace of this natural space. Just like that. I try to capture a little bit of it here. Bring it with you before my phone froze. I put it on a loop, so it's like 10 minutes that we sat there before the phone froze. And so we have that little glimpse of time. Here's the other quote. Those who contemplate the beauty of the earth find reserves of strength. From Rachel Carson. So these two quotes I thought really captured my experience this weekend, being out in nature and trying to absorb as much of it as possible. I certainly felt encouraged and refreshed to be in this space, to take some time, shut off all the distractions, get into a place just quiet, natural. And then reflect on the trees. Like we were saying, the trees are at peace. I was watching, you hear, I don't know if you hear, there's a little breeze there. You can see the trees swaying a bit in the wind. The tree is strong and flexible. This is the thing, you watch this huge tree, you go up next to it, it's just completely solid. But then you watch it in the breeze, and the top of the thing is moving, 4 or 5 feet sometimes. This is the type of space that we want. This is what we want. Strong, but flexible. Strong and flexible and at peace. To find peace and contentment within ourselves, within our day, here in a moment. Just imagine the existence of a tree for a minute, Say, tree, a very simple thing. Tree, but it's living its life. It is content in its own space, in its simple existence. You think, can we have some of that? We say, I don't want to be like a tree. I don't want to be stuck in one place. I don't want to be something. But think of our experience then. Distracted, stressed, angry about something, right? They say a tree is having a simple existence. We want to be like a tree. We aren't a tree, okay? But look at the tree's experience, grounded, rooted into a place, fully present, not stressing about anything, not stuck in any kind of negative cycle. The cycles that it has are natural cycles. Summer to winter. Eating, resting. Right? Eating for the trees, the sun, like John Muir. Sun is just flowing into the tree, feeding it, give it everything it needs. We see that we are like a tree because we are natural. We're part of this world. There are cycles here. Cycles bringing nutrition into the body. Just like sunlight is nourishing the tree, we have nutrition, comes into our body, gives us everything that we need. Periods of time where the energy is flowing in. Periods of time of resting. This is the natural cycle. This is what I was just, as I was sitting here in this space, just for a moment to be part of it. You know, we're always part of it. We cordon ourselves off in our little houses, and then we think that we're separate from these things. So anytime you get out in a cycle like this, you see, look, nature is happening. Energy flowing through this space. And the natural state, look at the natural state of things. Grounded and at peace. We want to be like that. I want to be like that. I was thinking here as we're looking at this scene, you know, it's almost like a mirror. You know, I love a lake here. We're sitting on a frozen lake. I love a lake, you know, when it's not frozen, you see the reflection of everything in it. Here, with all the snow across it, it's like we don't see the reflection of the trees, but doesn't it almost just look like you're still the reflection of the sky because it's a cloudy day? So we got like the white strip and the green strip and the white strip. It's just like this, these layers and just this middle. Everything taking place right here in this center. Almost just a little strip of life in between these spaces. I was seeing all the different types of trees. There's like, I count at least 10 types of trees I could see right there. A couple different types of pine trees and birch and poplar trees. Maple trees. I was sitting there in this space as I'm thinking all these thoughts. Trees rooted and grounded and present, strong and flexible. And I was like, look, a tree isn't just one thing. There's all these different types of trees. Everybody getting along. That's what I was thinking. It's like, trees all present in this community of trees. You see, maybe trees compete with each other. They're all trying to grab the light. I don't know. But they're also all sharing this space and the trees that are there. You know, I was thinking of different biology that I've read, like their roots are communicating. They share resources between spaces. It just... I was feeling sitting in that space, whether you say, well, it's all in your head or whatever, you know. The feeling that was coming to me was, man, here is a natural community, you know, nobody fighting and killing each other, at least. Everybody's sitting there. They got their job to do. Big thing they're doing, they're producing oxygen. I was like, man, not right at the moment, right? Not in the winter. Everybody sleeping. But in the big picture, right? They're producing oxygen. Like, here is a community, you know, producing life, producing The very building blocks of what we need. Even the air we breathe coming from just a natural place like this. I was just saying, finding gratitude for it. This is the sort of things like we get stuck in our own head, stuck in our own space. We think of ourselves as our own individual little entity. Here, we would not be alive without the trees, without plants of all kinds, making the air we breathe. We'd use up all the oxygen. So there I was just breathing in that space. It helps when you can smell the pine trees, even when it's so cold. Feel that cycle, breathing in the oxygen from the trees. We breathe out the carbon dioxide that heads back to the tree. Tree needs the carbon dioxide. Energy flowing into the tree so it can use the carbon dioxide to run the cycle. Everything driven by these natural cycles. Like, felt so good to sit there and be part of it. Feels good to sit here and remember it and try to re-experience it, with these centering quotes. Just looking at the structure of the tree. Okay, so we said roots are grounded. We want to be grounded. Roots, you think of the purpose, is like bringing stability. It's like also like getting water. It's like I always think of trees and roots and water, thinking a big part of what we're trying to do. We're trying to open up some kind of space. We're here fasting space. So you're trying to lose weight, trying to burn through excess in the body, use energy. Roots remembering us, just drawing on that water. Roots are energy storage also for the tree, especially in the spring. They store up the energy in the roots, power the system, especially, maple trees, trees that have to remake their leaves. It takes energy to do that. If no leaves, no sunshine means no eating for the tree. Sit there, they got the energy in the roots. So what are our roots? This is something we can think about in a space like this. What are our roots? What are our stores of energy? Both physically, yes, in the body, the actual energy. How about this second quote? We sit and contemplate the beauty of the earth, refine reserves of strength. What are the emotional reserves of strength? If we're trying to get into a healing space, a health space, don't we want that? Reserves of strength. Tap into them. How do we do it? Right? Tree is showing us a big examples. They got big, powerful roots heading into the ground. They're drawing out water, giving that nourishment to the whole being. It's like we want that. And then it's like metaphorical too, right? The stability, the grounding. Yeah, even the snow, there you go, Snow is part of that natural cycle. That's giving the water. It's gonna, in a big way, that snow is gonna melt. It's gonna head into the ground. That snow is gonna be in the trees as the water that they're using for this whole cycle. Rejuvenating everything in the spring. Love that. Building the roots. I love, the tree we see if in the ground, it's like a mirror underground, as tall as the tree is up, we see it growing up, extending up into the sky, sending its branches out, I love this sort of metaphor for us. Like we're talking, what are our roots? What are our branches? What are we reaching for? I always say, like looking to the light, reaching for the light, trying to lift ourselves up. Look what a tree is doing. It's rooted, it's grounded. Everything we don't see, roots going just as deep in many cases as it is tall, diving down, this huge stability. So we want to build that in our health experience, be so rooted and grounded and present. You can't move a tree around. It's totally in its place. Like, have we found our place? Are we grounded and present, stable? And then using that base, reaching for the sky, reaching for the light. I love that. That's really what I'm trying to say, is being like a tree. It took me 20 minutes to get there, maybe. But that's what we want. Rooted, present, grounded, reaching. Like this mirror. Totally love that. And like I was saying before, tree not stressing out. Can we be like that? Can we have the presence of trees? Like, the more I sat in this space, like I was saying, I got to this space, I wasn't planning on staying. I was just walking along. Sit there 5 minutes feeling anxious. The longer I sat there, the more at peace I felt. Got very hard to leave. I didn't want to leave. This is what it is so many times. Like, you start out either in a meditation or just in some natural space. You open up some space, very hard to get into. I at least, is my own thing, kind of anxious. Like, it's like, always got to be doing something, always got to be going somewhere, always got to try to accomplish something. Is it enough to just sit in a space, So that's not really our culture. But in so many ways, just sitting in a space, so healthy, so positive, both physically, mentally, right? We can move toward health in an open space. That's why I like a lake, right? It's a big open space. It's a metaphor for what we're trying to do in the body, give a gift to the body. How is nothing something? We've talked about that. We say fasting. How is fasting a thing? How can you hang on to it? We did that in the fall. So valuable then. Such a valuable space. And then it was hard to leave, Hard to leave it. Have you experienced something like that? Do you find that in your life, that when you get into a health space like that, it can be hard to get into, but then you get in a flow with it? During the driving, it was like we drove up, my family doing a lot of driving this time as we drove up north. And so I was reading, I didn't bring it down here. Can Fasting Save Your Life? My copy came. And so I was reading that mainly in the car. Most of the time while we were actually up here, I was trying to just be outside in nature, doing as much outside as we can. And so some of those thoughts, as I'm sitting here on the lake, also coming into my thinking. Man, I'm thinking about this big space of fasting. That book is thought-provoking. Absolutely. I'm big. Simple fasting is about little bits of fasting. Fasting like for a day, or maybe alternate daily fasting, something like this. Not big extending periods. But I have an open mind to it. I'm about halfway through the book over the weekend. And I'll give you many thoughts on it in the future, but it's pretty self-evident to me, even before reading the book. Can fasting save your life? Yes, it can. In the midst of a modern world where the main things that are killing people are metabolic dysfunction, then heart disease, which is downstream of it, and diabetes and everything that stems from that. To have an intervention that is a root level, here we are back at the tree, root level, way down underground at the foundation. Root level intervention to metabolic problems. That's a fasting space. Think like winter. Here we are sitting in winter, the big fasting space for a tree. That's part of the tree cycle. We're not a tree, but I think we can be inspired from it, And we can see that natural cycles are powerful. They're not in a hurry, right? Nothing happening in winter is unexpected for a tree. Nothing about it really can rush it, but it is going with this natural cycle because it's a part of it. What else is it going to do? We don't really see a human being in this society as part of a natural cycle, so we don't even know how to go with a flow that is there. We're kind of oblivious to it so much of the time. This is why I try to talk a lot about bringing awareness to our situation. We got to slow down. This is the benefit of getting in that space. This is where I'm trying to, if I can keep all my thoughts together, try to tie it together. We get into a flow state. This is what we really want, right? All the thinking that I try to do, help us get into a flow of things where the what we would call the right decisions, the things that we want to be happening to the very best of our ability to say that these are the steps that are helping me walk down my path toward better health, that those feel like the natural thing to do, that they aren't a struggle. I try to reflect here and say, I don't think anything about becoming healthier is easy in a society like this. But the goal of what I'm trying to do, the goal of what I think healthcare should be, is that it's like we're trying to make things as easy as possible. Even in that state, you say, well, it can be difficult. Want it to be as easy as possible and as inspiring as possible. It's like we want healthcare, all these things to help inspire ourselves so that we have strength to move forward in the face of all the challenges that we have, so that as many people as possible can be flourishing. So as I was reading that book, I was saying, the big thing that I have taken in the past about longer periods of fasting space is just that it's like, look what a human being can do, It's inspiring. And then can we use experiences like that, things that I would call pinnacle peak experiences, to inspire us and show us like, oh, even in this space is much smaller than that. It's changing our frame of reference. So many times when our culture is like, you got to be eating all the time or something bad might happen to you. Even to deviate a little bit from that, you can say, oh, you can feel like we're doing something strange. It's like, oh, now when we see the other side of it, we see human being capable of great extended fasting. It's like there's powerful physiology there. Do you see the body is built to do this? Like that's like shifting our frame of reference. I was saying in one of the sessions last week, you take a break from eating for a while. Have you experienced this? It just resets the whole experience. I think Christy was saying, in one of the comments on one of those videos, have you gone through a fasting space and then you just eat a banana and you're like, you can't believe how sweet it tastes, like after you've just cleared out this space. Changing our frame of reference. But then I was thinking more deeply too as I was reading this fasting book, extended fasting state, reading stories of so many people. I've had 25,000 patients go through their center over the last couple decades. And so you think of a number like this, 25,000 people fasting over multiple weeks. It's a lot of people and the incredible stories of healing. And then you listen, and we did the paper the other week from the study from the hospital in the 60s in Philadelphia. Doctors bringing people into the hospital, supporting people in this structure. That's fascinating. So you think, what actually is the flow state? And this has been my experience twice. I've said twice in my life I've done an extended fasting period. And I've experienced twice the same thing. It's just like getting into this space, like a meditation sort of space. You get to the frozen lake, it's totally beautiful. You say, how? Like, hey, this is amazing. Yet you feel anxiety. You're like, when am I going to be leaving? Like, I should be doing something, got to be somewhere else. It's like it takes a bit to settle into that, right? Any type of healing space, I think it's like there's a barrier to entry to these natural processes. But then you settle into the space, the anxiety comes down, and then people find, hey, everything is okay. That was my experience right in this space that we're sharing here on this video. It's like once you get into the space of it, you're like, oh, this is great. I'm here. I'm just hanging out in the woods with trees and nature. A bald eagle flew by, all these beautiful things. You just watch this enormous bird land right up on one of these trees. Just amazing. This is like people's experience getting into an extended fasting state. The hard part, it's like one of my favorite sessions we did on the squash, right? It's got the hard shell to try to get into that valuable space. You got to break into that, right? You need a knife to get in there. It's like, but then you get into the space, and that's where the value is. You do the hard work of getting into the bigger space, and then it can flow. People flow through multiple weeks without feeling hungry in many cases. Totally wild, because it just shuts that system off. It does make me think a lot about, what is the easiest path? Is it so many things in life, many things counterintuitive? They're inversions. The things that we think are hard can be easy. The things that we think are so easy, actually a path of difficulty. Fasting itself is like that. Okay, on the simple fasting level, people say, oh, doing something like that, switch on to eating twice a day instead of 6, sounds very difficult until you learn to do it and practice it. And then most people say, hey, this has simplified my life. It's hard to switch on to a new dietary practice. Say, but here it is simplified. Only got to do 2 meals. Hey, this is freed up time. This is something. Okay, does that inversion go deeper? It's something to think about. Flowing through that space, the more we train and open it up, is it actually getting us into a flow state that help us accomplish so much? It's definitely food for thought. What thoughts come into your space, into where you are sitting here with us in this forest space, frozen lake, winter? As you're reflecting on trees and sitting with it, what else comes to your mind? I was just thinking in this space, everything in balance. That's just another phrase that came to me. Everything here in balance. Everything at peace in this space. Being still. Yeah, this is such a beautiful thought. That's the thought of it, like my experience. Come into that space, it's like everything is not okay. Gotta keep doing. I should just keep walking. But then it's like, where? Like, you already drove across the state and you got all the way up here and you're in this beautiful woods. Like, just be still, Listen. Listen to the breeze come through the trees. The wind is like the breath of nature, right? It's just flowing through it. And then you sit there, you take a minute, you say stop and listen, and then you hear the wind. Just reminds you, okay, take a deep breath. Let that flow come in. Breathe in that peace. You say, there's peace out here in this natural world. Breathe that into your being. And then any stress, tension you have, say, just breathe that out, release it. Space like this telling us, hey, we're on a health path. Look, you can get healthier just sitting in a space like this, even here in our digital representation of it. Because the thing that is important is the mindset. It's the mental experience. Here we're thinking on these thoughts. Just like the quote says. Contemplate the beauty of the earth, finding our reserve of strength. It doesn't say you have to be right out in it even, okay? Just this mental process, contemplate it. Easier to contemplate, as much as we can. We get our own physical selves out into it as much as we can. But hey, here's just a touch point. Say we can't always get out into the wilderness. Wherever we are at, though, we can be in that place, grounded and rooted like a tree, right where we are. I love that session we did in the fall, Clues to the Weight Loss Puzzle. And a space like this, is a space where you can ask questions like this, like, what do I really need in this space? What should I do? It's like open up a space for that mentally. You can do it in a fasting space, like that physical open space, giving that mirror between the mind and the body. Really the same thing. Mind and the body, same. Sometimes the answer to this question is nothing. We actually need nothing. This is what fasting can show us. We go us through a space, say we don't bring anything into the body. We realize I have everything I need here. Energy is here in the body. It is waiting to be released. Like the tree has tons of energy in it. It's stored it up. It's making it through the winter. It's waiting to release it in the spring to power the body. Like we sit in a space, you say, what should I do? How about nothing? Don't have to do anything in order to access that energy. Is the actual process of doing nothing is what creates the opening for the energy that we're trying to get rid of to be released. So we have too much blood sugar, that's energy. We can burn it up instead of eating another meal. Burn, the energy is right there. So we have more body fat in the system we want. Open up the space. Release it. Don't have to do anything to do that. It's the process of not doing is what opens up that space. Now you can add things to it. You can add some exercise to a space like that. That's kind of the classic way. People say, oh, I'm going to exercise my way to weight loss. A perfectly wonderful thing to do, especially if it works without causing stress. Every type of process, weight loss process, You want it to be a stress reduction process. Any type of exercise, I say it should be a joyful expression. Help you burning through stress, never creating it. Never creating a mindset. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired and I've still got to go to the gym and I've still got to do it, you know? If you feel called to do it, okay, someone who is tired can still go to the gym if they say, this is the thing that is bringing me life and health and vitality. And if it's a wellness process where you feel better afterwards and you know you're going to, like, you can absolutely push through a space. Human being can do difficult things. But if it is a burden, okay, we want our health practices to be releasing burdens. If you're putting a burden on yourself and forcing yourself through a space, punishing yourself to health, flow in the direction of health. Flow in the direction of your path, okay? We are all unique. We have a unique circumstance and path. I would do the deep work. That's what I say. Do the deep work. Grab the journal. Grab the pen. Start answering to the best of our ability. Maybe we have to keep doing it every day. Dialing in on our path. We're not trying to live someone else's life. We're our own tree in this forest here. I give you these thoughts for the day. Think on a scene like this. Think of these trees. Think of nature and our place in it and the natural cycles and how we can use both the analogy and the physical reality of our interdependence and connection to the natural world and spaces like this. Help us to open up spaces physically, mentally, within the body, within our life, so that health can flourish. Look at the trees. They're grounded, rooted, present in these natural cycles. Tree is a healthy thing. It's growing in the way that it should, just in communication with these natural cycles. Can we ground ourselves in the natural cycles that help a human being to flourish? The most healthy, nutritious food, pure water and air and sunshine, and a fasting space, if you are called to it, that brings everything into balance. We flow through these cycles like the trees flow through the seasons, and as we align ourselves in this way, like a tree, hopefully to the best we can, we find health and flourishing. Really wonderful to share this space with you. I hope you have a beautiful day. I will look forward to connecting with you again tomorrow.